Good evening, one and all. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of Show Business. We're a little light this week. I come to you as always as Charles, otherwise known as Sipo. Greg Poupé joins me to screen right. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Happy to be here on a Tuesday. You know, it's always good times.
Indeed.
Whatever day it ends up being.
One more time?
Whatever day it ends up being. You know, Tuesdays, no.
Wednesday's great. Whatever I decide. It ends up Monday, Tuesday. Lindsay tentatively was joining us, but something came up, so it's
too bad.
just us. We're just really leaning into this stuff until I'm out of the dark side. To the chat, what's going on, Ryan? What's going on, Alex? Perfect timing. Well, that's what we're here for. We're here for your job. So to the weekend that was, it's a summer all of a sudden. Inside Out 2 pulled $154.2 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you consider the lead-in from the last couple of weeks. Bad Boys Ride or Die only went down 40% to 33.7 million, which is kind of interesting. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes came in third with 5.5 million, and that gained 2% over last week, which is, you'd never see that. Garfield in fourth, dropping to 4.7. That's a 52% drop. If rounds out the top five with a 54% drop to 3.6 million. And then you got Scuttlebutt, which it's weird. Watchers in 6, 3.5. Furiosa in 7 with 2.6, but only down 37%. Not to be outdone by Fall Guy, which comes in 8th with 1.6 million. It too dropped 37%. So
it's still in the top 10, especially considering their interesting release strategy.
It's just infinitely captivating that the Fall Guy, you can watch it at home right now, and it's still just kind of bouncing around at the theater. So I don't know what the deal is, especially when you consider Furiosa is barely ahead of it, and it has not made the money Fall Guy has made yet by 25 million. So it's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. To granted, they're two different studios. One is Universal, one is Warner. But Furiosa, as of right now, is not available on home media. Maybe they're waiting the 30 days. I don't know. But Fall Guy is available, and it's still kind of poking around in the top 10. So I don't know.
It's pretty interesting. I kind of thought that might be a killer strategy that just kills any sort of theater release, but it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Yeah, and we'll have further confusion to add to that mix with the most recent theater chain purchase. Alex says, I think we're looking at Inside Out either being number 1 or 2 highest grossing of the year.
For sure.
That's a fair guess.
A strong contender. Yeah.
What do we have here? Top grossing of 2024 as of this weekend, or as of right now, excuse me. Dune Part 2 has 282. This is only domestic, mind you. Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire in second with 196. Kung Fu Panda in third with 193. And Inside Out 2 at 176. And rounding out the top 5 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with 158.
I can't think that it wouldn't surpass it with such a strong opening, but we'll see.
Yeah, Inside Out 2
got legs, but I don't know.
It's on the
I'm
tail.
assuming Inside Out 2 will. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, again, these are only domestic numbers, but Inside Out 2 only needs 106 more to match and or surpass Dune, but it'll probably be second by this time next week, because Godzilla X Kong is it's run its course, and Kung Fu Panda 2 also has run its course, or excuse me, Kung Fu Panda 4 as well.
Say we're way past 2 at this point, aren't we?
They just keep re-releasing the old one.
Well, it's not a bad strategy. It kind of worked for Lord of the Rings. They made it top 10.
Except
at least last time.
Yeah, one of the 3 didn't crack the top 10. That's fascinating. So people went and saw 2 of them, but said, "Bah, I can't be bothered to finish this."
True.
And it has a 100-day exclusive theatrical window. Ooh, what? Inside Out 2?
That would be pretty awesome if it does.
Where
that's gonna guarantee.
Where'd you get that information from, Alex? 100-day? Is that based on what? I'm sorry, I'm only getting one sentence. Oh wait, animated movies have great legs past COVID, and it has.
They do.
Well, yeah, that appears.
I can't help but notice 3 of the top 5 at least have animation or near animation with the if thing, and seem to be kind of family friendly.
That was my theory. I think people to save money aren't going to like amusement parks, bowling alleys, whatever, and they're like, night out is the movie theater.
That makes sense. I mean, the kids are out too, so most kids are out of school, I should say. So yeah, it makes kind of sense. Ooh. So he's bringing receipts to this. That's awesome.
Thank you. Online sleuths. Pete Doctor said Inside Out 2 has a 100-day window. That's kind of a sweetheart deal for theaters. Huh. I don't know why Disney would do that.
I mean, that's most of the summer, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a sweet deal for theaters once that opening 2 weeks goes. For Disney / Pixar to do that past, I mean, even a month for it to be exclusive is so unlike anything we've seen in the last 4 years, post-COVID, whatever. It's interesting, and I do think that I don't know. I don't have kids, nor have I really had to suffer through going out in the age of inflation, but I can't imagine that price is appealing at all. But I don't know what amusement parks cost, but somebody said something like, I don't remember who it was, but there was a post about somebody spending like half of their savings on a trip to Disney World or some shit. I might have the information wrong, but
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, with all the different levels of pass that you can get, like and you can get like that concierge service where they take you right to the front of the line and kind of get a guide throughout the day. I wouldn't discount that, but yeah, that's some high roller status there. I don't know why you get your savings into that. It seems like it's just for the people who can do that, but I don't know. I guess, live it up.
Kids, I hope you enjoyed this trip. You're never going to college.
But you'll never forget this experience. Yeah, I don't see the trade-off being worth it, but, whatever.
When you go out for your first job, be sure to show them this picture of you with Mickey. Because that's where all the money went.
And that would suck if, like, your whole college fund gets spent on it, but, like, say, I don't know, the Matterhorn is down for the day, or no Space Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, I never were in good enough shape to go to Disney World, kid. So, like, that's something that I never really had to worry about. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but I've never been to the world myself.
Conversely, I think it's fascinating. This is just a theory that I brought up, and now I'm making it the argument that people are taking their families out to watch movies as like a thing to do. Because if you were to ask me, I don't know, 8 years ago, what would a nice weekend out for a family be? I would not say a trip to the movie theater. So I don't know if anything I'm saying holds water.
It is kind of like old school amusement park prices now.
Yeah.
It is kind of Sadly, it's kind of a trade-off, but not a bad theory. I haven't really thought about that, but that would make sense. I mean, the kids are out of school, so might as well be taking them to something air conditioned. It's hot out. I don't know. It makes sense to me. And yeah, I do wonder if amusement park admission is down or not.
Yeah, we're not the box office people over over at the
Fair
local
enough.
parks.
I just heard the theory that like just movies were getting so expensive, and that's why you're not seeing as much here. Instead, people are getting more streaming packages or streaming the movie. It was more cost effective, but I don't know. Now it kind of makes me wonder because this is some big numbers in just one weekend for one movie.
Right.
So maybe they're not getting rid of all luxuries. I don't know. Maybe they're just stepping it down, like you're saying. It kind of goes hand in hand with the other one.
Yeah. So the biggest weekends of 2024, Inside Out 2 nearly doubled the next best movie. Inside Out 2 with 154.2 is the biggest domestic weekend of 2024. Dune on March 1st had 82.5 million. Godzilla X Kong on March 29th brought in 80 million. May 10th, it was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with 58.4. And March 8th, Kung Fu Panda 4 with 57.9. Yeah, it's animated sequel, silly monkey movie, and Kung Fu Panda. So 2 animated and nothing original in the top 5. Actually, if I keep going, you have to go to 10th to find If with 33 million. I don't. Is that Ryan Reynolds like?
It is. Yeah. It's it's an imaginary friend one. It's an interesting story.
Technically, it's original. Technically, sort of.
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. I think Krasinski wrote it. So
yeah. So I don't know. Like, I could say that people are tired of all the franchises and shit, but it's not like we're getting much to chew on.
I actually hadn't seen much advertising. So granted, I'm probably not the target audience for Inside Out 2, so they probably weren't targeting me. But I don't know. The one that I've seen like nothing but nonstop advertising for is Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Oh wow!
So like or Deadpool and Wolverine. So I don't know. I just kind of I wonder. Did you see any advertising for this particular one? Did you see Inside Out 2 at all in your radar? Because it kind of hit me off guard. I wasn't sure if there was an audience for Inside Out 2, and then it just blew up over the weekend. Yeah,
I remember. So I think when I watched The Acolyte, I was promoted Inside Out 2
Fair enough.
at least once. Because it's on Disney Plus, and why not use your free advertising?
Yeah, it just makes sense.
But I thought they had already done an Inside Out 2, and what I thought was the sequel was actually Elemental.
It seems similar, but this one's a little bit more elemental, if you will. It gets down to nature.
Yeah,
but yeah, so, fair enough.
So my mind, I'm just not soaking up any of these properties that are geared towards families, and I'm in oblivion here. So maybe if I were in the UK with Emily's younger siblings, it might have been a little different. But I don't know. On X, they were talking about Bad Boys Ride or Die doing well, but Inside Out 2 like I think it made something like 35 million on Thursday screenings, and it's just like, it's going to do well.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just my algorithm that it wasn't advertising to me. Alex is saying that everyone around him was pumped, so that's awesome. I know the first one did well, but kind of like you're saying, it's hard to remember if they have pumped out like a second. It used to be there would be a lot of sequels and they'd be like direct to DVD or whatever. So it's kind of hard to keep up with some of those. But Oh yeah, I know that movie was kind of huge. So
so it's I think Sean had this theory too, that it's the first Gen Z property that they grew up with as kids.
That makes sense.
It's interesting. Yeah, all right. So what, Gen Z is only willing to pay box office prices for something that they grew up with? Like, why are they staying home for everything else? It's interesting. It's certainly I have no way to dispute it, but
It's an interesting theory.
It is. It's just a very weird year, especially considering
I think so
2020.
too.
I'm sorry.
Was this one on your radar too? Like,
no,
beat out any other weekend?
No.
You know, like it makes sense. Like the cartoons, you know, you kind of do it, or animated, excuse me, do it kind of summer. You know, especially like the beginning of summer, it seems like you'd get a big kick. So kind of Garfield. You know, I didn't anticipate that one beating out for the weekend, but
yeah. There is.
I don't know. It did nothing like this.
There is a common theme. I mean, not like you said, not big hitters like this, but Garfield did much better than anticipated. Ended up taking first its second week. Kung Fu Panda did incredibly well. It just seems like the
those are all
stuff.
pretty strong. But, you know, 4, it's hard to say if the 4th one's gonna hold up. And then, hey, like we mentioned with Bad Boys, like I didn't see that one doing that well. But yeah, it's interesting. A lot of sequels this year.
I think foolishly, maybe a lot of people circled Deadpool Wolverine as like, all right, this is what the year is going to hinge on whether or not Deadpool Wolverine does well, and it's appears.
I wonder what their advertising budget is, because like they are just everywhere. And again, it could be my algorithm, but man, like I'm just getting inundated with everything on that.
You're getting that even on the cursed version of X, huh?
Yeah, it's cursed images and Wolverine, which, you know, I kind of don't mind. It's a nice respite.
Take those two and mix them together. That you got this. You got a good formula. Cheers, Deadhead. Cold one. It's not exactly ice cold, but it'll have to do. Dice, what's going on? Pretty sure Joker 2 will make money also. Yeah, Folia do. When does that come out? Is that tail end of the year? Is that summer? What?
I don't think it's summer, but yeah, I can't remember off the top.
One of those November, December releases? That's interesting. I don't know. Like, there are a couple of wild cards that come out this year, and Alien Romulus is one of them that comes out in August.
Sorry, it's October. So it's sorry for Joker Folie Dieu. Yeah.
That's an interesting time to release something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to figure that one out, because it's well, I don't know. The fact that it's like a pseudo musical is kind of, I don't know how to gauge that.
It seems like it would work in the world that it's based in, but I don't know. We'll have to see how they pull it off. But I kind of didn't think the first one would work when I heard the plot for it. But yeah, it really took the world by storm, and the meme world as well.
Yeah, yeah. Got to think about the memes. I think that Inside Out 2 at least will be in the top 3 for the year. I don't know of anything else that will perform as strong as that. It may still end up being the top weekend of the year, because 155 is extremely strong, and certainly so for post-COVID. Like I said, if Deadpool Wolverine does what people are thinking it's going to do, it might be really, really impressive. And
I think they're kind of banking on it, but I hope so, I could be wrong. But it seems like they got all their eggs in one basket on this one. There's a lot of advertisement going into this.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the first one where they're like officially leaning into the Marvel thing, aren't they?
Yeah, kind of supposedly it will be the merger of the Fox universe as well. So yeah, it'll be pretty great. Yeah,
so it's like Endgame for, I don't know, the X-Men crowd. I don't know.
Essentially, kind of these 3 worlds finally get to unite, and then Hugh Jackman
and get roasted at the same time.
Ooh, I finally saw the trailer for Alien Romulus, and it's making me pretty excited.
I know.
I don't know. They could actually screw it up. I heard that they were debating whether or not it would be like a theater release or not, since it's like a Hulu production. Apparently, it is theater now, so I'm really excited for it. But I was excited for some of them that they've let me down on hard with that franchise. So we'll see.
It is weird how Disney's just kind of not really giving a shit about the Fox stuff, and they kind of did that with Prey, and they're just put it on Hulu. Who gives a shit? Just that was a really good movie.
Yeah, they've done that with a few of them now, and I don't know. I think they would benefit from the theatrical, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I really hope they don't go like the AVP route with it, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out any of it, and it's just such a weird year. Every time you think something's going to do well, it really doesn't, and when it doesn't do well, it does so in disturbing fashion. Like I didn't. If you told me Furiosa wouldn't hit 100 million,
same. Like it just again though, it's like 9 years from the original. Like I don't know. Is it just that the iron wasn't hot? Because it seems like any of those Mad Maxes, regardless of the time, they kind of become classics. No, it's an interesting year. I didn't see the movies that are making the most making them. Dune 2 was huge, and I think that was anticipated. But other than that, I never saw Garfield being in the front like any week and being second the other week. I don't know. I just didn't see it.
Right. I mean, between Furiosa, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is kind of doing all right because it is at 158, which is it's almost 3 times as much as Furiosa is making. So,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, George Miller, man. I don't know. I guess I'm a sim for him, but I just love the stunts that he has in those and the visuals that he's able to capture, but. I don't know. I would have thought that would drive people to the theater. And that was why I was going to buy into that whole, people are looking to get rid of some of the luxury items in their current spending. And theaters just may be that. But man, Inside Out 2 is kind of saying that isn't necessarily the issue. Right.
There's just monkey wrenches being thrown into every little. Oh, what about this? What about this?
Monkey wrenches in monkey movies. That's all we're getting this year.
You're the monkey.
Jamster mentions Gladiator 2. Are you excited for that one at all?
Who?
I mean, the first one's a classic, but if you hear Russell Crowe tell it, it was quite a bad story until he got involved with it. He made him change it. So I don't know. I'm not
Ridley
sure.
Behind it too?
I believe so. Yeah, he's coming back for this one.
Ridley Scott is really, while I am not against people, continuing their film career, hi Quentin, keep going. Maybe some should retire, and Ridley Scott's kind of been a little hit and miss recently.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
Very hit or miss for me. Visuals look amazing. Like Napoleon. I don't know. I guess I can't judge it till I see his director's cut. That's like an hour and something.
Has he released that yet?
I don't know. I could be wrong. If so, I missed it. I know it was going like straight to Apple, I think, but I don't remember.
What is Apple doing? Like,
that's a good question.
Either jump in the pool or don't put your toes in every now and again. It's just so weird. Like every now and again, they'll have something exclusively. And if anybody's spent more than 10 minutes on Apple Plus or whatever the hell it's called, it's such a wasteland of exclusives and nothing else. It's really, I don't know what they're.
Some good stuff on there though. Like I've enjoyed a lot of their programming, but they've got some weird stuff too.
Yeah. Well, spend your money, buy some licensing, throw some like old seasons of Friends up there or something. Like it's just Masters of the Air. Okay, yeah. Ted Lasso, awesome, and nothing. And the morning show or something else. I don't know what the fuck.
Fair enough.
Did you see Inside Out 2?
I have not. I'm sure I'll see it eventually, but yeah, I wasn't racing out to it this theater. I did not do Cinema the Service this weekend. I definitely should have. What about you, sir? Did you happen to go out and see it?
No, okay. I'm certainly not going with a bunch of little rugrats running around. Fuck all of that. That's not happening here. The other news that happened right after, I think it was the day after we had our episode last week, Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas was purchased by Sony Pictures. And
no conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting strategy. I mean, I guess if you can stream it, is that much different than having your own theater? I don't know.
Well, I guess they're entitled to 100% of their profits.
Makes sense. I'm sure they get priority.
Yeah. So Sony, we've put this stat up a couple times recently. They had the least favorable streaming deal, where if they wanted to do it themselves, they would have to wait for a 90-day VOD window. And now that they own theaters, they may exclusively release their stuff to Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas, which there's a bunch. There's a fair amount of them, and be entitled to 100% of ticket cost or price, whatever. But the bizarre stat that I came across while just kind of looking into how or why is the market share for distributors in 2024. Warner Brothers is currently the highest grossing distributor this year, with 9 movies totaling a $707.6 million gross. And that's 23% of the share. Universal has 12 movies with 494.9 million.
I was going to say, I thought I saw a bunch of theirs going up, but okay.
And that's 16% of the share. But the leader with 22 movies is Sony Pictures, and they're in third place with 452 million and a share of 14.7, which is strange because Disney has 6 movies, Paramount has 4, and Sony has 22.
So they're kind of throwing everything at the wall. It sounds like they're just hoping one of them really sticks and makes something. It's an interesting strategy.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is hedging the bet so much as, I don't know what the fuck, doubling down on your stupidity. At least something will stick if you release 22 movies in not even a full 6 months yet. At least if you own some theaters, you're going to get something. Like it's just
seems
so
like
confusing.
it. Yeah. Would this be the strategy? They own their own theaters. They own their own streaming platform. So I don't know. No more splits. I guess. I don't know. I guess it would depend on the overhead of the actual theater, but I'm not sure if that would be a ton more profit directly to the company. I guess it would have to be, right? Because theaters are profitable, supposedly.
Are they? I guess if you're keeping it all in-house, perhaps. This isn't the first time Sony owned theaters. They bought out a bunch in '87 and had them through 2002, which my first job was technically at a Sony theater. But
nice.
Towards the last couple of years of Sony Lowe's, it was Lowe's merged with Sony, and then eventually Lowe's was on their own, and then they were bought out by AMC. But this is such a bizarre time to be buying into the theater industry because Sony is really bad at making decisions.
Unless this is kind of seen as one of the bottoms, and you're buying low, and then I guess they can sell high. I'm not sure, because you mentioned like this. It seems like a lot of them are very down. The opening weekends are very down compared to some of the other years and pre-COVID time. So I don't know. Would it, if they see this as kind of the valley? I don't know. Maybe it would be time to buy. I'm not sure.
Well, the other thing is, like, it seems like the fact that they released 22 movies in five and a half months seems like they're just covering up one mess with a different mess. Like, all right, we fucked up here. Let's try to make it better by throwing more bad money at shit.
Well, and aren't they kind of notorious for at least kind of releasing what people claim to be movies just to retain the rights to certain ones?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Just like, here, Spider-Man. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. It seems like it could be part of their strategy, but I don't know. Just compared to any of the other ones, that seems like a lot of releases. I don't know.
I joked about
it's working for them with only 14%.
Yeah, the fact that they have the most by 10 and are not in first is creepy. It's really unhealthy. And again, apologies for scuff. I would have the stats on the screen for you, but it's not working right now. The thing that I kind of joked about last week on Thinkers, and I don't know, Sony is, from their reputation, they are silly. I could see them doing something with the cost of concessions at the theaters. So for those who don't know what Alamo Drafthouse cinemas are, they're like a destination theater where you have dinner and a whole bunch of other shit you do while watching a movie. So like the food is kind of tied into the gimmick of going out to a movie. I could see Sony in a situation not really giving too much a shit about the profits on the food, which is where theaters make their money, and just kind of making it their exclusive theater house for their movies, and really kind of do something awkward with concession prices that theaters won't be able to compete with.
That would be kind of crazy. It might just be so crazy that it works.
And then they screw the theater industry by doing that.
Yeah, true. But given how cheap popcorn is and like how much of a markup they have on that, it does kind of make you wonder. I know Alamo kind of did more like real meals and stuff. So I'm not sure if they could go super cheap on that, but damn, it is an interesting strategy. I'm not sure. Either that or they could go the opposite route and make it more like a theme park, like you were saying earlier. And then, it's the experience, you got to try one of their weird Sony dogs, or I don't know. They could license the food. Who doesn't want a spider dog or something?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It could be like a destination thing where we brought this up a couple of weeks ago where they're selling like merch and shit too.
It's kind of crazy, but it just might work. Yeah, I could kind of see either of those being disruptive to the movie industry, but I guess the theater experience.
And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I don't know why this was the decision that they made now. It's such a weird time to buy into theaters at their low. 2023 was very bad. A very bad year.
It might be just they're getting in at the low, but we'll see.
I don't know. I went to a theater that served dinner. It was like an elementary school cheeseburger for stadium prices.
Oh, that sucks. So like the couple places around me that do have like actual meals and stuff, like they're great. They're just expensive. Like, it'd be way cheaper to actually go to a nice restaurant and then go there. But it's a fun experience.
Yeah.
But that sucks, especially if it's like elementary cheeseburger. That's not a good one.
Yeah. I do know that whenever when my wife lived here, we would go to the local AMC, and they had like hot food. And their mozzarella sticks, for some reason, were just way better. And every time we went to the theater, we got those. And
hard to screw it up, man. Like all you need is like breaded cheese, throw it in the deep fryer. Like it's hard to screw that one up. I guess lack of salt, maybe. I don't know.
I tell you what, every time that fryer was down, I wanted to throw shit because I'll just watch this at home. I came here for your damn mozzarella stick.
That does suck. Yeah, I don't know. It just, I'm for the classic, I guess, just popcorn, man. Like you gotta have popcorn in the movie theater. But I don't know.
I'm big enough a snob where I just got the fucking machine and said I'll do it myself. Just forget it.
Fair enough. I mean, you got the best of all experiences, though. I respect it.
Yeah. Yeah. My machine's broken when I say it's broken, and it's broken. But I don't know. I don't know. Is there? Can you see there being a benefit to this, Gray? Where like maybe, like you said, they keep buying low, and I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like it might give them more legs to some of their flicks that they could keep in the theater longer, perhaps, because then, they're not splitting it all with the theater. They are the theater, so they're the ones getting the actual money from keeping it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. The other thing is, it's one more revenue stream where a lot of them are kind of bringing in streaming so close, so soon. Like, I can't remember the exact days Fall Guy was, but it was under 3 weeks. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. That's kind of ridiculous. So I don't know. That's the only thing I can think is it's just one more way to test out another possible revenue stream. And that's very, I don't know what you'd call it, unusual time in movies. I don't know. I can't think of another time that was quite like this, where theaters are kind of on their way out. We'll see.
Yeah. It was kind of the known. I don't know. It was known that even during recession, that theaters were still kind of recession proof, but it doesn't appear to be the case anymore. People are locking their phones and shit.
Yeah. And most of them near me, they went from like the regular seating to like those luxury seats. Mm-hmm. So like they get even less per screen. So I don't know. It just seems weird. And even those, it seems like they're rarely full except for like opening weekends on something. So
yeah, I mean, I could see them like really leaning into the niche aspect of it and releasing like some of their like historic stuff on the big screen for, a special limited event or something where that'd be neat.
Go watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do like what Phasm Events does.
Kind of big one, but only the second you said like even cracked the top 10. So
yeah. I'm trying to think what Sony, they could do the original Ghostbusters. What else do they have? The original Spider-Man? Fuck. Keep that license.
Yeah. I think it was Alex had asked you before. I'm not sure if you still have that list of the 22 up that Sony has, but did that include the 8 Spider-Man re-releases?
I can certainly check.
Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot for that. I was just curious. It's like that could explain why it's 22 and it's so much more than the others if it includes the re-releases.
All right, so Bad Boys Ride or Die. That is the highest grossing of the lot.
Respectable.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Garfield movie, Anyone But You, Madam Web, Tarot, The Book of Clarence, YOLO, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Napoleon, Spider-Man, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Journey to Bethlehem, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Something in French, romantic comedy, and Thanksgiving.
So that makes a ton of sense then that it is the... All right, so that's why it's way more than the others. It includes a bunch of re-releases. So maybe that is their strategy. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they can take full advantage of that with their new, Alamo Drafthouses.
That is weird. So 22 minus 8, that makes it 14, which is still 2 more than, was it Universal?
Yeah. I think they were the next up there.
Universal's 12,
yeah.
It sucks. I apologize. I would show you guys, but just leaning into this stuff really hard. Theaters should pick up decent fan films like Don't Hike Alone and split their profits with the Womp Stomp crew.
That would be kind of cool.
I think as far as business is concerned, Paramount or Warner or whoever would own the licensing fees to actually that's split now. Friday the 13th, they wouldn't let you have Jason Voorhees or Crystal Lake or any of that shit on on a screen without paying them. That's for sure. That may be more paperwork than anything. I dig your idea, but the fan film can't technically have any sort of licensed character that's named in the film for it to kind of work.
That just sucks. It would be cool if that could actually draw in some people. There's a whole lot of things that I wish I could see on the big screen that I never have been able to. It would be kind of fun to see some of those re-released, but yeah, I don't know if they'd ever go the route of like fan films just for the licensing, like you mentioned. I don't know.
I mean,
and I guess how do you advertise that? Like, how do you know that whatever fan film is at a place?
Yeah, I don't. I don't envy whatever lawyer would have to handle the loopholes and paperwork to show a fan film to possibly 40 people.
There's a bunch of awesome ones out there though that just have so much passion behind them. It would be great to see them on a huge screen.
So Sparkles has spoken. No more Spider-Man. Tell that to Sony.
Yeah, I thought Alex's comment was pretty awesome too. They need Alamos to make 10 more Spider-Man villain movies without Spider-Man. They only have some of the licenses.
We're kind of short this week, obviously, and we're just going to round up the issues of the week with something that we're technically competing with right now.
Ooh. Yeah, I can't wait to get off and go watch it. It's going to be great.
You can't wait to get off? What would?
If that's what I said, that's not what I meant. Once we're done with this lovely program, I want to see episode 4.
Yes, and Gray is going to go slap it to the Acolyte, which is in its 4th of 8 episodes right now.
Almost halfway done as of today. Yeah,
and I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I just think it's fascinating the backlash that this this franchise seems to always draw. But listen, if I was printing money off of their backs, I guess I would find a way to be outraged at something, but I just don't have the energy, nor do I have the talent to to put something together like that. But Gray, how has your experience been thus far?
It's kind of a little underwhelming. I expected to be extremely offended. I was told this is what's going to make everybody get off of Disney Plus, as it were, and this is going to cause a mass exodus. Everyone's going to hate it. I don't know. I don't know if this is the right medium for this type of storytelling. Like, I get that she really likes kind of some of what Ryan Johnson was.
Ryan Johnson. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, for a second I just like blanked out and I was like, okay, it's Rian, but it's pronounced Ryan. And then
if you're speaking of Last Jedi, you got it.
I am. So with TLJ, he did one thing where he's kind of showing an event from different points of view. I think since she's saying that inspired her a whole bunch, Leslie Headland, who's kind of writing and is showrunner for The Acolyte, I think that's what they're going to be doing. I don't know if a TV show is the best way to do that type of storytelling, because from what I am seeing with a whole bunch of people criticizing the writing on this and the way that they're doing the storytelling, I don't know if you could fully explain what every incident is if you're going to show it from different points of view and you're supposed to recontextualize it each time you're kind of shown how these events transpired from different points of view. I don't know if you could quite put out all the stakes at one time. It has to be kind of that mystery that it's unraveling week at a time. I don't know if that is the best thing to do for a show. I know a lot of people are getting frustrated that they don't understand the story yet. It hasn't given us enough information, and it just seems stupid writing. If I can recall most of what the criticisms are, such as like stone doesn't burn, metal doesn't burn. I'm assuming what we're seeing isn't just some lamp that got knocked over in the last episode. I think there's going to be more context that it gives you with the different points of view. I don't know. I just think maybe this TV show isn't the best way to try and do that. I think in a movie where you're kind of locked in and you can experience that and it can slowly kind of lay out its even conflict, if you will. I don't know. I just think that works way better for that type of storytelling, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. What's your experience with it? Do you understand the mystery? Is it intriguing to you? I guess it turns off a lot of people.
It's intriguing, certainly. I don't hate it. Certainly not with a passion, but I don't love it with a passion either. I'm not quite on my heels or on my toes. I don't know, whatever the term I want to use for the next episode, the way I was with, say, something like Lost, where it's just kind of drip feeding you some of the story with mystery elements. But I don't, I'm indifferent. I'm so shrug shoulder emoji about all of it. Like why? The one thing I will say is that production value is there. It's on the screen. I mean, I'm trying to think of if you had that budget on, I don't know, something like Lost, something like I don't know.
So I've actually seen some people kind of complaining about that too, that they're saying like the cinematography is bad, the sets don't seem that great, and it just seems like they're watching like, say, like Hercules' Legendary Journey or some sort of like TV show. And I don't know, I'm not getting that. A lot of the shots seem really cinematic to me, like especially in episode 3, they did a lot of symbolism to 2s, maybe to really hit you over the head with it. But I thought visually some of those shots that kind of symbolize the duality or whatever, I don't know, I thought they were kind of well done. I'm digging the costumes. I think it, they must have brought a bunch of purple fabric with them to this new planet, but I don't know. I like the costumes in it. I don't know. Are you seeing that value in there? Because I guess I'm hearing a lot of reports that they really hate the movement of the camera. It doesn't seem professional. They would show the shots differently to truly get you like the emotion of the characters. I don't know. You're a little bit more professional than me. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, barely. The people that think the prequels are just masterclass cinema, right? Those people?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm closer to Big Rod's position where he's saying that Star Wars is Return, and that's because of the Ewoks. I think Return for me is number 2. The original number 2, so number 4 for me, or excuse me, number 5. Empire is where it's at. That's number 1. It's got to be. And then I would put Return as number 2, but that puts me in a weird camp. For me, the prequels kind of, I don't need to know about midichlorians. I don't need like a miraculous birth, but fine. That's all a thing now. I don't know. Because of that, I don't feel so offended by this new one. That being said, as Miss Sparkles is saying, Great digs it, not so much. I don't know. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people are. I think they're not necessarily giving it a fair shake yet. But yeah, I don't know. We're less than halfway through. Once we watch the one today, we'll be halfway through. There's a chance to really ruin it. But so far, I don't see what all the hate is necessarily about. And I don't see all the lore breaking. From what I hear, it could be expanding because there's this potential character that they could be bringing in who's kind of done this before. And that is what brought about the creation of Anakin. If so, it never said in canon how that person learned it, so this could be expanding, but I don't know. I don't know exactly where they're going with this. They might break all canon and ruin everything. For me, sorry, I'm talking over this amazing, very generous flame tracks for $5. I believe that would be U.S. currency. And Star Wars is ruined. I can't disagree with you. It's not the same Star Wars it used to be. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm ready to hate on Acolyte quite as much as everybody else is. But
yeah,
it could be bad.
I don't know. It's something where if it takes a dump, my I don't know, my energy would be like, oh, that's a shame. Or I could see potential, but I could see it just kind of flailing.
For sure.
Whereas I can be pleasantly surprised too. I'm in this like weird middle space where it's like, all right, if it sucks, I'm not really invested, and if it gets good, great, I'm not that invested. I'll have a reason to keep watching. So I don't know. I don't have any dog in the race. It's in regards to cinematography, the only thing that maybe I would say I kind of recognize, and I don't know, like, how expensive the Star Trek Last Generation, whatever their series were. Um, the only thing that this series is kind of missing is scope. Uh, like, we're not really far back on stuff, and everything seems to be happening pretty close to the camera. And like when they were
with that smiley Sith person, they're always really far back. I think that's only shown them twice, but fair enough.
Oh, yeah, that's
just
fair.
Wanted to derail your point. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Like there was that one when there was somebody in like a, I don't know, what do they call it? Apothecary? What the spices?
Oh, yeah. I think he was an apothecary, but I can't remember. But yeah.
How to pronounce apothecary? I
think it's apothecary, but I don't know. They say mechanic in this one, so I'm not sure. Maybe they say it's something else. Apothecary.
Okay. Yeah, mechanic. You mean mechanic?
No, it's space. We're not a mechanic.
So, like, they were across the street and like up, like it felt very tight for that. And I don't know. When you're shooting on a set, you have to, you have to be confined to a certain amount of space, no matter how much you make something look different. It still looks way better than, what was it, Wrong Turn 5, where they filmed on one set, and it was just, that's a really bad comparison. But yeah.
The one that a lot of people are comparing it to is kind of House of Dragons, because they just had their season 2 premiere. I guess they're like 30 million less for their whole season than they did for this one. And, they got like dragons and stuff. So I don't know. Both are fantasy worlds. It's kind of hard to compare exactly what they are. Like, again, neither of them, anything modern would kind of work. So you are kind of building a world from scratch. So it seems like that'd be expensive.
Yeah. I'm wondering if, well, there is that episode. So these are like slight spoilers. Apologies. There was a Jedi that was like in forever hibernation or whatever the fuck, hadn't spoken in a very long time, and
deep meditation.
Yeah. And apparently he felt remorse for something that happened to the bad twin. And I'm wondering if they're going to really lead into what you think is good is bad, and vice versa.
I think they've shown a bunch of signs for that. Again, I guess this would be slight spoilers, but like, I don't know, Osha and now I'm forgetting her name, May, seem to be completely looking at things 180 degrees from each other. It seems like they're both calling the other one evil and are to blame for everything. So I don't know, where Osha seems like she's supposed to be the good one, into Jedi and all that stuff. But this little, like, whatever you call it, jellyfish, butterfly thing. I don't know. She gets mad at May for like essentially paralyzing it, but she was doing the same thing to it moments before. So it does seem like, perhaps we're not seeing the whole thing from a reliable source, if you will. I think they are going into that kind of unreliable narrator thing, but we'll see. I do believe that whole thing on that planet, the whole, whatever you want to call it, backstory thing, we'll see it from a different point of view, and it's going to make us recontextualize everything.
Right.
But we'll see.
I'm not against it. I'm trying to think of something more recent, but what I can think of is Kaiser Sose. What the fuck was the name of that movie? The Usual Suspects.
The Usual Suspects, yeah.
If you have something more recent, by all means, but it feels like if they can manage to pull it off, that would be quite a feat. But Usual Suspects is quite a high bar.
Yeah, and they kind of seem to be implying a few things, and that's why, looking at something week to week and kind of giving theories on it, it's kind of tough because you don't have all the information. You don't know exactly where they're going. But I've heard some really cool theories out there. One of them I kind of abandoned like part of the way through the first one, but someone out there might have kind of convinced me that maybe that's still a possibility. But we'll see. There's some really cool directions that they could be taking this, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you if they're actually going to do it or not. We're over a third, less than halfway through it, so I don't know.
Yes, and Jacob, you're right. I'm so glad I have no investment in Star Wars. Worst fan base of all time. I'm not disputing that. I am not.
But you got to remember, every movie has ruined it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess no one was really mad at Andor or the movie for that one, Rogue One. I guess I didn't hear anyone really complaining that ruined it, but
it's funny.
Everything else has ruined Star Wars.
When something's quite good, it just gets no play. It just nobody talks about it. It has to be the worst thing ever since the history of ever. But are you referencing the theory that Darth Plagueis could be?
So I've heard that. So I wasn't actually talking about that. So there is one other theory that there aren't actually two sisters. And I don't know. Originally, I was kind of thinking that with the first episode. And then it kind of blatantly showed that there were two people. But I don't know. They've kind of been leaning into that these people have really good force ability and ability to kind of manipulate people's minds. I don't know. I'm still not 100% in the camp that there's two sisters currently, but we'll see. There's a lot of different ways that they could be going. But yeah, another theory is, they're going to tie in Plagueis into this one and finally bring him into canon. Maybe. If so, I hope they do it well, because that's a cool character. And there's a lot of people that are going to be even more upset if they screw that up.
Yeah, I feel like the prequel fan base is just a little too ride or die for those movies and the lore that was created in those movies. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to piss anybody off. If you like it, great. I always took the story that Palpatine told Anakin about Darth Plagueis. It was actually him. It was actually him who did that. But I mean,
definitely heard that theory. I don't hate that one. It's no Darth Jar Jar, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, but like it just seems like, haven't we learned from midi-chlorians that if somebody mentions something, we don't need to see its inception. We don't need to see whatever. The fact that the Clone Wars was such a, I don't know, dud compared to you fought in the Clone Wars back in episode 4. Just stop bringing everything to light so unceremoniously because it was talked about once. It's just, I don't know. And then there's all these like side novels that there's a fucking 15 book set which explains the backstory about this one person, but it's not officially recognized by Disney. So what are we doing here? I don't know.
Passionate fans. I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword because they want to see what they really love, but if you change it, you're going to feel a wrath. It is quite difficult, but they're passionate. You can't deny that. Like, what's the last movie that you can remember that people were like camping out to see the first one? I don't think that's a thing anymore, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that people camp out for like new phones, if anything.
Yeah,
it's changed. Penis. What about penis? What's happening?
Something about Jar Jar. I'm not sure.
I grew up enjoying the first 3 on VHS. Nowadays, I prefer my sci-fi as / horror, not fantasy. I see. Damn you, YouTube, with your non-notifying ass. Hello, Troy. Infinity War and GTA 5. Oh, yeah. Yeah, games.
True.
That might still happen. Right.
I totally forgot about Infinity War. That one was just gone from my head. I was just kind of thinking like, yeah, I guess that is the pre-COVID time. It got a little hazy, but
that's the last movie.
That is the last one I can think of.
That's the last movie I remember not really being invested in, but I really cherishing that experience I had in the theater with everybody. Because like, I didn't have the emotion
like that is going to happen again.
I don't know.
So I saw Dune 2 in a packed house, but I don't feel like it had that same thing. Like, it was cool to see it in a crowd where they wanted to see it, but man, it's not like that. It's not people camping out and just loving the film.
Mm-hmm. It'll happen with GTA 6. Interesting.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Haven't been invested in a movie in years. Well, fair enough.
Well, just wait. Deadpool and Wolverine is coming out real soon. We're all going to be happy about that.
The Sony Spider-Man villain dinner combo is coming pretty soon to your local Alamo Drafthouse. So you'll love to be there for that. I'd love to see a movie made about Kane the Soul Reaver.
Ooh.
Is that from Legacy of Kane?
I believe
Vampire
so.
Dude?
That's where my mind went with it. They're awesome games, but yeah.
Those games go way back, like way back. I played them as a kid.
They do. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, top down, right?
Yeah,
Sucking
it was
the
fun.
blood out of villagers or something like that.
As one does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Legacy of Kane. Yep. Vampire stuff. Thank you. All right. So that about does it for this abridged version of show business. Let us know in the comments or chat while we're still up if you plan on finishing Acolyte. If not, if you're waiting for the whole thing, it's quite intriguing. I don't know if I'll check it out immediately after this show, but I'm not off of it yet. Gray, what do you got going on your side of the world?
I will be finishing Acolyte, so I guess I got that going on for the next 4 weeks. But not much. I should have a show out soon, but in the meantime, every Thursday, come and check out Charles, myself, and a bunch of other people, international panelists, if you will, from at least 3 different continents, getting together, arguing, disagreeing, yet somehow not necessarily coming up with solutions to things. But yeah, it's a fun time. The Thinkers, check it out every Thursday on That Darn Kidda's channel, YouTube, That Darn Kidda. Hell yeah. What about you, Charles? What do you have going on in the near future, sir?
I'm still in the dark oblivion. So just waiting for the airport to kindly amend my situation. And I don't think it's going to happen immediately, but fingers crossed. The 31 scores have officially been averaged out. So I don't know if maybe the debrief happens relatively soon, but I do know that the scores have been averaged. So there's that. We have our official Autopsy Stream average list, and you're going to want to watch that. Cody Leach will probably be presenting that. And
nice.
Whether or not that happens before the next time we get together is probably not going to happen. But hopefully we'll get more of the Showbiz crew in the next time. And until next time, thanks to those of you in the chat. Thanks for the super chat. And thank you, Gray.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to be here.
Have a good night.